Hey guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Briana White.
There you go. That's your cue. Don't know why guests never know when to say their name. It's pretty obvious.
Well, we didn't go over it beforehand.
I'm Ryan. You're Briana. Okay, we're going to check out from TopTrending 10 real-life deaths caused by video games.
I'm excited for this one.
Briana's going to be starting up a YouTube channel which features gaming on it, so I thought this is a great video to watch with her. Okay, here we go.
In 2007, 16-year-old Daniel Petrick shot both of his parents over a disagreement about Halo 3. After his parents found out that he had purchased the game against their wishes, they took it away and locked it in the home safe. Daniel found the key to unlock the safe. Unfortunately, his game was right next to a gun. Reacting on impulse, Daniel grabbed the gun. He then snuck up behind his parents and said, "Would you close your eyes? I have a surprise for you." Then he shot them both, killing his mother and critically injuring his father. After Daniel shot both of his parents, he then put the gun in his father's hand so he could make it look like a murder-suicide. As the police arrived on scene, they found Daniel trying to flee in the family van, with the Halo 3 game in the passenger's seat. Because of his age, Daniel could not have been given the death penalty. He was given life in prison and won't be eligible for parole until 2032. In 2012, an 18-year-old only known as Chuang died at an internet cafe in Taiwan after reportedly playing the video game Diablo 3 for 40 hours straight. An attendant at the cafe found Chuang resting on the table next to his computer. The attendant woke him up. Chuang then stood up, took a few steps, and then collapsed onto the ground. He was pronounced dead soon after arriving at the hospital. His death was due in part to a blood clot in his leg, presumably from sitting in front of that computer too long.
Oh my
God! The parent company over Diablo released a statement that said, "We feel that moderation is clearly important, and that a person's day-to-day life should take precedence over any form of entertainment." A 17-year-old Philippine teen murdered his own grandmother after she interrupted his Dota match. The teen had been playing Defense of the Ancients in a neighborhood internet cafe. His grandmother, who told him not to play that game anymore, went to pick him up and return him to their home. When the woman began scolding him about the game, he alleges that he blacked out and beat his 68-year-old grandmother to death. The teen cleaned up the bloody crime scene and called his aunt, who then called the police. The victim was found with wounds on her neck, chest, head, and arms. Police officers also found blood-stained ceramic shards of what appeared to be a smashed vase in a garbage bin in the front yard. The grandmother, who had raised the boy since early childhood on her own, was killed because the boy wanted to play a video game. South Korean man Lee Seong-sop wasn't just an avid player of StarCraft, he was addicted to it. He let the popular real-time strategy game take control over his entire life. In 2005, he started spending all of his time playing the game, which cost him his job and longtime girlfriend. Lee would spend almost all of his money in an internet cafe to play it. He was used to playing 14 to 18-hour sessions, but when he started a 50-hour session, that was the end of his gaming days. At the end, he collapsed and died from exhaustion and dehydration. When it comes to games, there's a difference between healthy enthusiasm and an unhealthy addiction. In this case, the man's love for StarCraft consumed him. 17-year-old Warren LeBlanc of Leicestershire, England, got life in prison for emulating a death scene in a video game in 2004. The game in question? Manhunt. The game was developed by Rockstar North. Armed with a knife and a claw hammer, Warren lured 14-year-old Stefan Pakira to a nearby park. He bludgeoned and stabbed the boy over 50 times until he died. In the trial, the mother of the victim was forced to leave the room, as details of her son's horrific murder were explained to the court. At the end of the proceedings, the judge stated, "One thing is clear. You and you alone were responsible for this prolonged, vicious, and murderous attack on someone who thought of you as a friend." In 2013, an 8-year-old Louisiana boy intentionally shot and killed 87-year-old Mary Smothers, his own grandmother. The event happened only minutes after the boy started playing Grand Theft Auto. Authorities believe he intentionally shot Mrs. Smothers in the back of the head as she sat in her living room watching television. Family and friends of the victim have stated that the victim and the juvenile had a normal, loving relationship and even shared the same bedroom. The sheriff's department released a statement saying investigators have learned that the juvenile suspect was playing Grand Theft Auto 4 just minutes before the homicide occurred. The boy, now living with his parents, won't face charges. Under Louisiana law, a child younger than 10 is exempt from criminal responsibility.
Whoa.
18-year-old Devin Moore was actually arrested for Grand Theft Auto, not the game, the real-life crime, in 2003. While being processed at the police station, he lunged at one of the officers and grabbed his .40 caliber Glock. He shot him and 2 other police officers in the head as he made his way out of the station to then steal a police cruiser. Once caught and handcuffed, Moore uttered, "Life is a video game. You've got to die sometime." In the trial, his defense team tried to use the Rockstar game Grand Theft Auto Vice City as a scapegoat for the young man's violent acts. Ultimately, Devin was sentenced to death by lethal injection. In 2014, an 11-year-old boy in the Philippines was stabbed to death by a 16-year-old male. Allegedly, the 11-year-old victim hacked into the older teen's online Dota 2 account. According to the family and police investigations, the victim was taken to a construction site where he was beat up by the suspect. His head was slammed on the walls repeatedly before being stabbed over 40 times. The 16-year-old suspect denied any contact with the victim. However, he was found with heavily blood-stained shorts and drops of blood leading up to his house. The stabbing was so horrific that the mother couldn't recognize her own son.
Unnecessary reading.
28-year-old Philadelphia man Tyrone Spellman beat his 17-month-old daughter to death in 2006 while playing the popular game Ghost Recon. His toddler crawled into the room and accidentally toppled over his Xbox, breaking it. In a fit of rage, Spellman repeatedly beat the child. Investigators contest that the child's battered body was then positioned next to a barbell in another room to make the death look like an accident. Spellman fled the scene but turned himself in the next day. Official autopsy reports indicate that the toddler's skull had been shattered and caved in by continued blows to the head. Spellman, who was a self-admitted video game addict, claimed that he did not intend to kill the child. He was sentenced to 22 to 45 years in prison. In 2014, 12-year-old Peyton Leutner was stabbed 19 times and left to die in the middle of the woods. The culprits responsible for the attempted murder were 2 of Peyton's close friends, 12-year-old Morgan Geiser and 13-year-old Anissa Wire. The 2 girls were trying to please a fictional video game character, Slender Man. They thought that if they sacrificed a real person to him, he wouldn't haunt them or hurt their families. According to court documents, they told detectives they had been planning to stab her for months. Investigators discovered more than 60 drawings of Slender Man in Geiser's bedroom. One drawing depicted a girl lying on the ground and a person standing over her with the message, "I love killing people." Once the pair lured Peyton into the woods, one of the girls pounced on her and started to stab her repeatedly. During the entire ordeal, the victim was screaming in agony and saying, "I hate you guys. I'll never forgive you. I trusted you." Once the attack was over, the girls ran away. Miraculously, Peyton survived the attack and crawled her way to a nearby trail where she was discovered by a cyclist. Leutner has made an amazing recovery from the attempted murder, and as of this year, the girl who came within a whisper of death celebrated her 13th birthday.
We ended on a decent note.
Thank God that was the last one.
Yeah.
That was awful. That was really hard to get through.
Oh no, that one time I saw a video called Top 5 Creepiest 911 Phone Calls.
Oh my God. I've heard about that one, yeah.
Yeah, did not post it. I did not post
Really?
because they were like real phone calls. This, I don't know, I guess I'm going to post it because they're reports. They're not like actual phone calls and you don't see footage of any real things really. It's like
It's pretty dark though.
it's dark information, but it's still really haunting.
was
Don't get me
rough,
wrong. I don't
yeah.
feel good. I'm conflicted about posting it.
Okay, but to be fair, some of those video games can't necessarily be blamed on the video game. Like, you can't say Grand Theft Auto causes people to be violent. It's the passion about it that caused them to be violent. Just like passion about a relationship. How many deaths does that cause?
Yeah.
You know? I
Yeah.
hate that video games get such a bad rap sometimes for inducing violent behavior, but that's not necessarily true.
There's a lack of responsibility that people take on. Everyone has this thing where they blame people for shit they
Yeah.
do. It's like just because they blame the video game does not make the video game responsible.
Yeah.
The one that really freaked me out though was the Slender one.
Yeah.
That one, fuck, it was like
Well, it was premeditated.
they were
It
like
was the only
worshiping
one.
Slender.
Yes.
Like it was fucking insane.
Messed up.
Yeah, like-
Totally messed up.
Because, you know, when you see about people with the addiction to, like, StarCraft or some online game,
Yeah.
that's an addiction, you know? But people can get addicted to anything.
Totally.
You know, it's
Totally.
like, we need food, but there are food addicts who are now really obese and everything and
Or
have
the
heart
opposite,
disease.
and don't eat.
Or don't eat.
Exactly.
Yeah. People can get addicted to anything. And, like, the father who killed his 17-month-old.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame the video game. It's like,
No.
there's clearly something psychologically
Wrong with him.
fucked up with this
Yeah.
guy prior to this video game existing to why he did it. You can't blame the game.
And he even said he didn't mean to do it. It was a crime of passion, and that's why they have different categories for that reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say though, about the video, I know that they were trying to keep it as short as possible, but I really needed some space between all those stories to just like
Yeah, it's pretty dark stuff.
be ready to like take a deep breath
our
and be like,
first
okay,
time
I'm
on the
ready
channel.
for the next one.
First time on the channel.
Yeah.
This is what I like to
This
do
is
to
what he
people.
started with. This was his choice.
I thought it might be like a funny video for some reason.
Oh, it was the opposite of funny.
I didn't think it was gonna be like, oh, this psychologically fucked up person played a video game and then murdered someone.
Like, that was worse than like most episodes of like Dateline or like any
No,
documentary
yeah,
I've seen.
that was pretty.
Ugh.
That's pretty bad.
Whew.
Yeah, video games have age ratings for a reason.
Yeah, totally.
And because a certain age should be able to handle.
Exactly. I
The-
mean, what was
the-
that one story about the 11-year-old and the 16-year-old who, you know, they were too young to be playing that game anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Or that
I mean,
8-year-old
it's no
who killed.
excuse, but like, you know, you gotta think that the reason that these games are inspiring these crimes, I mean, maybe they're just not old enough to be seeing these types of things and they're so impressionable and they don't know how to handle and process this information.
Because like the video games act as a catalyst to what happened, but
Exactly.
anything could have been a catalyst.
Totally.
To like, if the guy didn't kill his baby because of a video game, it would have happened something else. If the kid didn't have a disagreement with his parents over Halo 3, it would have been over something else, and he would have
Oh
killed them.
yeah, they led with a hard one.
Yeah.
They started,
Yeah.
that was a heavy
I was
hitter.
like, oh, I can only imagine how the next 9 are
I
gonna
know,
go. Yeah.
that was rough to start with that one.
I know you
I
don't want.
wasn't ready for that
If
one.
there's one thing I've learned, you don't start off rough. You start off gentle, smooth. And eventually, when you get a little rougher, it gets better.
It's a metaphor.
Metaphor. This whole video is a sex metaphor. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. Thanks for putting us through that too.
Yeah.
If you're new to the video channel, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Briana White, she's going to be starting up a YouTube channel, already has shot some footage of it. So subscribe to her channel for now and keep a lookout for videos are posted.
Absolutely.
And in the meantime, if you want to look at some cool stuff of Briana, go to her Facebook page. What's it called exactly?
It's facebook.com/BrianaWhite.actress.
There's good photos on there, supposedly.
Yeah.
I might have to check out your Facebook sometime.
Yeah, you should. It's all sorts of updates about my acting stuff too. Any movies I have coming out, I definitely post on that.
Right, but there's like ones where you're like modeling, right?
Yeah, modeling photos.
Okay, we did this bit in the last video.
Yeah, we did.
Modeling photos.
Modeling
Keep
photos.
a lookout.
Take a look.
You're confident. We even got a little fan blowing for you to,
Oh, I know, I
to give a
noticed
little
that.
wave
Nice
effect
little
here.
glimmer.
And you can follow The Real Rejects on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Vine, and Periscope, and her too on all that shit
Yay.
too. John Guy. If someone asks me, do you have friends? I say, yes, I do. And their names are Ryan and Dan, Veronica and Shalina, Sally and Brandy and Jerry and Alyssa. And if you guys give me a shout out, that'll be nice. If not, it's okay. I still love you and thanks for your time. John Guy, Sorry that Briana is none of those people. Okay? This is your fault. Oh, let's come over on Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's okay, Briana. It's okay. John Guy, listen, my friend. Okay. One time I ran into a problem with an actress where the videos had to be taken down because the manager didn't approve of my humor. But I really want to make a sex joke about John Guy, like thinking of you before he goes to bed while looking at your modeling